Hello guys, so today we have a new tutorial. We will be talking about how to set up properly our search input, and in general we will be talking about good practices with fuzzy search. I hope you guys like it.
So let's show you first my setup here in Wized and Webflow. So we have an array that we're rendering from Xano. It's a whole table that we're querying. We have 1,000 records, and probably something that I see, with the quality of how fast Wized renders data, and as well, it will depend on how fast you can query the data from your table, and how much data you have on each item. But if you have less than 1,000 items on a table, like I would suggest not to search on the backend items. I will just suggest to filter items on the front end. If you just have a table that that won't get bigger than 1,000 items, like related with performance, like you should be fine. And also, whenever you search through the front end, like it's instant. It's instant. This example is whenever we're talking about large tables, like really, really large tables, like I don't know, 1 million records, 2 million records, even, even passing, I guess, 10K, like you should be using this setup. So first of all, good tip about good practice. As you can see, we have a shimmering effect here, and then we have items rendering, and we don't see any flickering, like this is instant. Make sure that the item that you will be rendering, if you don't have like a preloader that will cover the whole screen while this is, happening, make sure that the item by default that you will be rendering has here in the head settings of your site or any page. I guess it just makes sense to set it up in the global settings um, to have the display to be none. As you can see, I'm using the Wiz attribute to set up the CSS, so you don't have this flickering. And now, while you're rendering it, you can set the style of it. If the status of your request is 200 and it's not requesting, you can set the display to the one that you want. So here we want it to be flexed, so you avoid that flickering. Now, second tip of good practices. Let's start talking about Xano. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do here in Xano is go to the table that you will query all the records from, where you will query all the records from, and I want you to go here into the three dots. By the way, we're talking about, as I said, large tables where you need good practices in order to take the most of the best advantages out of Xano. So we want to go here into indexes, and you want to create a new index here, but the type will be search. And here you will select the fields where you want to search items from. I guess the less items fields you select from, obviously the quicker will be the request, and this will definitely improve. Whenever you create this index, this will definitely improve the search functionality on your table. Like, so you will select the fields that you want to search. Um, through. You will save that, and now that you have saved that, whenever you are querying the table that you are looking for, you will see a new field here. It will look like a new field. So you can obviously select name, email, whatever. But yeah, obviously we will select search. This will be the index, and you can see it will automatically set up a new operator called search. And I want to show you something. So first of all, I want to show you directly, like setting up the input directly, search. I will disable this whole function over here. So I want to show you something. So now let's take a look to the table. So so as you can see, we have a person called Bobby, right? And also, by the way, we already have this set up. Let me just show you. No, let me just show you here in Xano. So if I type two words Bo, I should find that person, right? I should be able to find that. But as you can see, we don't find it. So now I want you to go to this page. I will share this page with you. I want you to look into all of the different type of search methods that they have here, and this is just fantastic. And the one that we're really looking for is wildcard matching, where we just want to return, this will return any result that contain words that start with sto, for example, here. So we want something like this, like as we won't be like searching through like multiple words or anything like that. Um, we want to have a setup here where we just find like quick matches. So with that being said, what will do is if our input is not empty, we will add this element right here. So let me just enable this. So we have a condition here. If our input search is not empty, is empty equals false, we will create a variable. We will take our input and we will concat the, we will concat two dots and the asterisk. Sorry, I always forget how this is called in English, but whatever. Now, otherwise, we will just create the same variable search with nothing. In that way, if this is true or false, whatever, we will still have the variable search, where we can then use that variable here, right here, search, and where we can ignore the empty values if it's empty. So now, if I run this, as you can see, we get all the records, and as you can see, we get the first person Bobby because it's one of the first one in the list. And that's awesome. Not only from the name, but also from the email and the country as well, because we have those three searches, and they will, organize these based on that and taking the name as a priority. So that's awesome. And now let's just publish this, and let's start as well talking about good practices on the front end. So now here, as you can see, we have different ways to trigger this request here in the front end, right? So we have onChange, and I want to show you that because I already have this action right here where we're performing the request that I have set up. So let me just show you onChange, right? So onChange, so if we type theory and we click outside of it, it will search through it. But this is not a great user experience, right? Like we need to click outside of our input in order to search through the items. So that's definitely not a good practice. We don't want that user experience. Let me just now change this with input, another event. So now the issue with this is every single time we'll type a letter, we are triggering the request, and this might overload the server. And sometimes this will just even break our data. So you don't want that. You don't want to overload the Xano or anything like that. What we want to do is wait once they have finished typing, like a few seconds once they have finished typing, we want to trigger the request. So in that way, we want to do a custom functionality here. So on input here, we want to run a function, finish typing. So I will paste it right here. And, in this function, what we're doing is we are listening, into the event of the input. Let me just remove this because we don't really need to listen into the event anymore. Yeah, we don't need this right here, and we don't need this right here. Yep. So on event input run function, we will, wait. We will do advance here, where we'll just be waiting 300 milliseconds until after you have, stopped typing. So if I type here theory, as you can see, it's not instant. It just waits until I stop typing. So this is definitely a good practice. Like this is the way to go. You can even increase the time if you want to make less requests on the backend. So this is just great practice. And now people can just practically start typing, and it won't trigger the request until you just stop typing. So this is the best performance. I hope you guys like the video, the tutorial, the things that we're setting up here, just so you can achieve, the best results with your search. I will be making a tutorial on how to just search arrays on the front end only, so you can see that how instant it is, where you pretty much don't need, like you don't need to show the shimmering effect all the time. You can just show it once, and whenever you start doing that, the searches on the front end, you don't need to show that again because you're not pulling the data from the backend again. You're just just filtering here on the front end. So I hope you guys like it. Thank you so much for watching.